Okay, got it. I'm testing something new, so we're going to live stream this as well. And let me start the recording. Okay, so 1 minute to go. So just want to make sure that everyone is coming. Okay, I see people are joining. Yes, hello, Andre, that is just coming. We have about 1 to 2 minutes. Let's just give everyone a chance to come in. And looking forward to having a great afternoon with a friend of mine and to learn with him. He's expert at what he does. And the one thing I like about him, he loves hugs. How many of you love hugs? Let us know in the chat box if you love giving hugs and where you're also from, you know, just to give us a quick update where you're from. And it would be great. I see more people are joining. So let's give another minute or two for more people to join. And then we're going to make sure that we're going to be ready. Okay. Simo Kosi is from Bloemfontein, South Africa. Fantastic. We know we have Rian all the way from Centurion. We have Eugene Haynes. I wonder if you can hear me. Gerard van der Merwe. It's a man from, wow. Okay, so for those who don't know, Eugene is all the way from Ireland, so we have an international audience here tonight. Samantha, so awesome to see you, Samantha. Just for those who don't know, Samantha and Belinda is going to join me at the FIT retreat that's coming up end of September. So so nice to see you. I love that. Yeah. So, and I know Volker is planning to sometime to join as well. And Eugene, Samantha, so that if you don't know, Eugene is also coming. So Eugene, Belinda, so already connecting. This is like, whoa, I love it. I love it. Things are happening. Okay. So I see people are joining and we are going to be ready to kick off. I just want to make sure that I am live streaming and that everything is ready by my side. Okay. Just check. I see Faith is now joining as well, so people are joining. Okay. Okay, Volker, let me get you up and going. I'm gonna spotlight you for everyone. For those who don't know, Volker, you're welcome at the top point view. If you want to view everyone as a gallery, you're welcome to do that, because at the moment we are just seeing you as the spotlight speaker, and we're ready to do it. I see we have Winchester all from Gauteng. Volker has hugs all around. Yes. Somerset West, Impangeni, Dublin, Ireland, from all the places. Hello, Kobus, Gerard. Nice to see you all the way from Pretoria. And yeah, we're looking forward to everyone. I'm not gonna, Volker, I met about 2 years ago, or was it just more than a year ago? It was before lockdown, and we met up here in Centurion. Volker does a lot of men retreats. He does also a lot of spiritual retreats around South Africa, from breathwork to plant medicine and journeys. And you know, we connected over a hug. And it's a special hug where it's eye contact, heart to heart, and breathing in together. And today we have him here to come and share with us his breathwork and breathing technique. So, Volker, I would love you just to, in a nutshell, also just to introduce yourself, where you're from, a little bit more, that people know who you are. That would be amazing. And then this platform is yours today, and I'm looking forward to learning from you, brother. And are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, Kobus, brother. And thank you for the invitation. It's so good to be here, and it's so good to have you all in this webinar, in this chat. So yeah, my name's Volker. I've been passionately working in the field of personal transformation for over a decade, and my journey is largely inspired, or should I say my purpose is largely inspired by my own healing journey. You know, my own journey of transformation, which I'll speak a little bit into, because it also inspired my path to finding breathwork. So I'm quite eclectic in what I do. Kobus has already mentioned that I do men's retreats, But I do everything from breath work to family constellation workshops to wilderness retreats and various online and in-person workshops, all with a common thread of helping people to refine themselves, reclaim themselves, transform the limitations that influence our choices that come from the past. You know, that's very much the work that I'm involved in, because it had such a massive impact on my own life. You know, I've spent so many years of my own life hiding from the world, feeling not good enough, always preparing to be good enough. One day when I'm ready, then 10 years goes by and I'm still hiding. So, you know, my path is inspired by experience. And I think that's really important, that we don't try and share resources purely from textbooks, but our life experience is so rich with lessons that we've learned that we can share with others. So, Quibus, should I go straight in, or is there something that you want to still say or add?
No, just welcome. I see we even have Ismail here from Turkey. So yeah, you have an international audience here, my friend. And this will be the not the first, the last one. For those who don't know, Volker will be sharing in the future with other topics as well. So please be tuned, learn as much. And I just want to, from my side, thank you for being here. Okay, up to you. On to you now, Volker.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. So this afternoon's chat's about breathwork. And thank you for being here, because when you see the title breathwork as a topic lead, you know, it might not sound like the most appealing thing to want to hear about, because I mean, what is breathwork? We breathe all day long. And what is breathwork as a modality? You know, it sounds like a waste of time. So I'm glad that your curiosity has gotten you here, because breathwork is so misunderstood in terms of its power and what it does for us. And that's what I want to really get across today. I'd like to start by maybe talking a little bit about how I came across breathwork. It's actually a very profound experience that I had. And I don't even know how far back or how long back I'm going, probably about 10 years, 12 years. Yeah, I've lost track, to be honest, of the timeline, but it's probably about 12 years ago. I was not in a very good space in my life. And I wasn't living a very conscious, purposeful life. And as a result, I got thrown by a few curveballs. And in a short space of time, everything fell apart. You know, I lost, without going into detail, I lost everything from my marriage to my children, to my businesses, to my money, to my self-worth, self-respect, self-belief, you name it. And trying to pick up the pieces and pull myself back together, I found myself one day sitting in this tiny little apartment in Tableview, Cape Town, this crummy little apartment. It's the only thing that I could still afford. And my bed, the place was so small that I had to put my bed in the lounge, because the bedroom was too small to actually get my bed into it. So I sat in this little one-bedroom apartment the one day, actually in the evening, feeling very sorry for myself, very much stuck in my victim mentality, not being able to see the wood for the trees, being very depressed, exhausted, low energy, helpless, not knowing what to do about my life. And I did something that I hadn't done in a very, very long time, and that is I said a prayer. Now, you know, I'm not the most religious person, so my prayer was a bit like a meditation and speaking to God and speaking to the universe. And I sat there and I just closed my eyes and I just said, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't see clarity. I'm depressed. I don't have anything, and I just don't want to live like this. So it was really a call for help. And from that, I went to sleep, and I was woken in the middle of the night. It was probably around 3 a.m., maybe 2 a.m. I was woken from a deep sleep by a voice that said very, very clearly, it was actually loud and clear, breathe yourself free. And you know, when you're having a dream and you can tell that it's coming from the dream, this wasn't that. This was as if someone was standing in the room speaking to me, like this I got woken up from this external stimulus, like breathe yourself free. Well, that's what it felt like. And I woke up and I got a fright and I looked around the room and I, what is going on? Almost fell out of my bed. But a very, very clear message, breathe yourself free. And the reason it's so profound is because a few hours earlier, here I was, asking for help to get out of this very, very sticky situation that I was in quite a deep depression. And, I'd like to tell you that I woke up the next morning and knew what to do with that, but I didn't. I had this message, breathe yourself free. And I was like, okay, so what am I going to do with this? And for a while, I just, try to take deeper breaths and carried on, living my life and surviving life. And it was about a month later that I had been invited to attend a retreat. And it was a healing retreat in the wilderness, actually an ayahuasca retreat. And it was on this retreat that the one morning we were invited by the practitioner to come and do breath work. And I had never heard of breath work in my life. And I was like, breath work? Okay, let's do this. And I had this 60-minute breath work experience, and it completely changed my life. It was in that experience that I was able to get a sense of clarity, and more importantly, not just clarity, I was able to view my perspective from outside of my stuckness. Because when you're depressed, when you're caught up in low vibration, when you're caught up in your fear and your victim mentality, you can't see anything. You're in the hole. And when you're in the hole, you can't see the light. And while I was doing this breathwork session, I was taken out of that. I wasn't even trying to get out of it. I was just lifted out. And I was able to see a view that was so encouraging and refreshing, and just gave me so much hope. It did a lot more than that. And I'll talk more about that in a moment when I tell you about the benefits of breathwork. But that's when I realized that there's always an option. There's always a solution. There's always a way out. We just have to create opportunity to shift perspective. That's where it's at. And I never looked back. From that one breathwork session, I just dove into it, and I did the training with that same practitioner, and I did a bit more training, and I've now been teaching breathwork for 8 years plus, 9 years possibly. Breathwork, this is actually conscious breathwork. If I talk about breathwork in the fitness world, that would be like talking about fitness. Well, what kind of fitness? Is it athletics? Is it weightlifting? Because there are so many different types of breath work. Conscious breath work is a specific type of breath work. And what conscious breath work is, and how it differentiates from other modalities, is that it's a strong, connected breathing rhythm. It's called circular breathing. So the magic lies in not pausing between the breaths. It's in breath, out breath without pausing. It's one circular breath. And this rhythm of the breath is very symbolic of life and death. It's very symbolic of letting go and embracing, letting go of what no longer serves us, making room for something new to arrive. When you're born into this world, the very first thing we experience in this human form as we come out of the womb is the first in-breath. It's our first relationship to life, is our first in-breath. And then as we are lying on our deathbed at the end of our life, it'll be the last thing you'll experience, your last out-breath. And everything in between is symbolic of embracing. How we breathe is also symbolic of our relationship to life. Do you find it hard to breathe? Are you able to take a full breath, which is symbolic of your ability to embrace life fully and to receive fully? Is it easier for you to take an out breath than an in breath, which means it's easier to give than to receive? So all these things have symbolism. Coming back to the breathwork technique, conscious breathwork, strong connected breath, and a conscious breathwork experience we normally will hold for about 60 minutes. It creates a very, very powerful journey, and the breathwork journey and experience serves us at every level of our being. There are many modalities out there that will serve you potentially in your emotional states or serve your emotional state, maybe your mental state. Some modalities will focus on your physical state, your physical well-being. Some modalities are designed to shift perspective and give you deep insights. Breathwork does all of those in one experience. When we breathe properly, and I'm not just talking about breathwork now, I'm talking about just breathing properly every day, because we have forgotten how to breathe. Through the stress of life and our subconscious tendency to suppress emotion, we have become shallow chest breathers. There are always exceptions, obviously, but the majority of people have become shallow chest breathers. So I'll ask you right now to take a nice deep in-breath and just notice, are you breathing in from your chest or are you breathing in from your abdomen? And if you're breathing in from your chest, it means you've lost the muscle memory of how to breathe properly. So outside of what breathwork is, I'm going to just give you a little nugget that you can take with you, which can serve you every day. And that is that just by breathing properly, you can harness up to 70% more energy. Because firstly, we need to understand how our lungs are shaped. The bigger surface area of your lungs is towards the bottom, down towards your abdominal area, and then it narrows out as it comes up into your chest. Also, when we breathe from our chest only, we are stimulating and signaling our sympathetic nervous system. All right, so the autonomic nervous system is broken down into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Your sympathetic nervous system is activated when you are in danger, when there's a threat. What that will then do is it'll pump your body with adrenaline, it'll strengthen you physically, sharpen your physical senses so that you can avoid the threat, right? And that's obviously only meant to happen when you are in real physical danger. When we breathe into a shallow chest breath, your nervous system is picking up on your breathing rhythm and going, something's not right. And it naturally, or should I say unnaturally, but automatically stimulates your sympathetic nervous system. So just that breathing rhythm keeps you in fight and flight, which is a vicious circle to be caught up in, because you're already dealing with the stress of life. And now your breathing rhythm is keeping you stressed, keeping you from actually finding the coherent state when your body can turn inwards and rebalance, recalibrate, regenerate. Just by breathing from your abdomen, using your diaphragm, it's called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. Just that breathing rhythm alone balances out your nervous system. Okay, it stimulates your parasympathetic, which then goes into rest, digest, recuperate. It goes, there's no longer a threat. Now I can focus on what needs to happen. Okay. So if you have forgotten how to breathe properly, start practicing using your diaphragm. Okay, get the belly breathing going. That alone is going to energize you more, give you more energy, and bring coherence into your physical state. Okay, and your emotional and mental states. Conscious breath work's doing a lot more than that. Okay, I could spend a long time just talking about the physical benefits of conscious breath work. Everything from, as I've already mentioned, recalibrating your nervous system, creating coherence between all your bodily functions, cell regeneration, supporting neural pathways in the brain, food digestion, getting deep rest, and the list goes on and on. Okay. That's on the physical. Releasing toxins. We release up to 70% of our toxins through our breath. So we release toxins, we release anxiety, we release stress. But then there's a deeper benefit. And you know, the work that I do, the deeper benefit, which is on the emotional level, is where I have my interest, and that's where my passion lies. Because what breathwork also does for us is it helps us to release suppressed emotion. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is so important, okay? It's important to understand that emotion is energy in motion. E-motion, emotion. That's what emotion is. Emotion is meant to flow, okay? We came to Earth. We are here having this earthly experience to experience life and all emotions. We are here to experience our full range of emotions. We are not here to permanently be in a bliss state with unicorns and rainbows. Okay, life simply doesn't work that way. We are all going to experience loss. We are all going to be triggered into anger. We are all going to grieve something, and we're going to experience immense joy along the way. That's what emotion is, right? So when I have an experience, I'm going to experience an emotion that relates to the experience, and by allowing myself to feel that emotion fully, it will flow through me. And then I naturally return to my high vibration flow state. In other words, before my conditioning, before me picking up all kinds of limiting belief systems and behavior patterns, I, in my unconditioned state, am flowing in a natural flow state just like nature does. Because we are part of nature. We are all here as living beings, which is part of nature. And we have a natural flow state, which keeps us healthy, keeps us in balance, keeps us optimized, keeps us in flow on purpose. But then, of course, we experience life. We get abandoned, we get betrayed, neglected, abused, all kinds of stuff happens to us. And we then pick up defense mechanisms and belief systems that create imbalances. So coming back to emotion, one of the things that we get conditioned to do is to avoid feeling the emotions. We don't only get conditioned to avoid feeling it, sometimes we aren't emotionally equipped to deal with severe emotion. If you're at a young age and you experience significant trauma, there's a good chance your mind will take over and try and keep you safe, and eventually it will repress or suppress that emotion into your subconscious so that you aren't left feeling an overwhelming pain that you aren't ready to deal with. It'll lock it away so that you don't have to deal with it, right? It might not be a significant trauma. You might just have a painful experience and not want to feel the pain. And then we go for the quick fix. Have a couple of beers, take some antidepressants. But guys, I'm not calling antidepressants a quick fix. It's not a judgment. They have their place. I'm simply using it in the context of us avoiding feeling our feelings, okay? Now, it's important to understand that emotion carries frequency. Every emotion vibrates at a very specific frequency, which is very important in understanding how those emotions impact us when we suppress them. Because when those emotions get locked away in my body, when I suppress something at the age of 5, age 7, age 15, age 30, age 40, all throughout my life, if I'm suppressing stuff, it doesn't just dissolve. It doesn't just disappear. It's there. It's there vibrating in my body. And your heavier emotions, shame, grief, anger, apathy, they are vibrating at dense frequencies. I'm going to show you in a moment the emotional frequency scale to show you how they are scaled, because the emotions have actually been scaled into a scale. They've been measured into a scale by Dr. David Hawkins, who spent many, many years researching the frequencies of emotions. He's written some incredible books, Power versus Force, and a few others. And if you understand that emotion carries particular frequency, if I suppress my anger, if I suppress my grief, I'm locking heavy energy into my body. It's sitting there as a bundle of dense energy vibrating. And what that does, it creates an imbalance in my energetic body, okay? That natural flow state that I mentioned to you earlier, imagine your natural flow state being like running water, flowing water. And every time you suppress something, you're accumulating a little ice block into your flowing water. Another ice block, another ice block, another ice block, until your flowing water is full of chunks of ice and you're no longer flowing. And you start to believe that you are the ice, you're not the flowing water anymore, because we get caught up in our anxieties, our depressions, our fears, stuck, confused, exhausted, don't know where I'm going with life. That is what gets created when our energetic body gets taken out of balance and we accumulate all these energies. I'm just going to show you very quickly what the scale looks like, and then I'll speak into it a bit more. There's only one slide I'm going to show you. I don't do the death by PowerPoint thing. There it is. Okay, I hope you can all see that. So that is the emotional frequency scale. It goes from being very expansive to being very contracted. So every time I suppress an emotion, I'm locking a bundle of energy into my body. It's foreign to my body. It's not meant to be there. As I've already mentioned, emotions meant to flow. So yes, I'm meant to feel it, but then it releases out of me. When I lock it away, it's vibrating at a low frequency, and it starts to create and impact the tissue around that energy. The physical tissue of your body, the cells of your body start to get impacted by this energetic frequency that's not meant to be stored there. And then your body starts to give you warning signs. And usually the warning signs arrive in a very subtle way. Back pain, stiff joints, headaches, getting a bit of anxiety, restlessness, tension. So we get the warning signs emotionally and physically. And we have been conditioned to not be curious about what that is, because the curiosity will help you to understand, what is that? What is this niggle? Let me be curious and feel into it. Let me be curious about my anxiety and feel into it and see what is underlying it. We don't do that. We run out and fix. We run out, fix. So if you want to heal it, we need to be willing to feel it, not fix it. We suppress, we judge, and we try and run away. And that is what leads to suffering, right? There's a big difference between pain and suffering. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And it's when we try to avoid our pain that is stored in our body that we create suffering, because it's not going anywhere. So we're reaching out for the quick fix, but sitting with a prolonged ongoing problem, which is nothing other than putting a plaster on a wound that just keeps festering. So what does breathwork do? It helps to clear out those suppressed heavy emotions. So when we do the breathwork session, what happens is we start to breathe the strong connected breath. And initially it feels a bit foreign to you. If you haven't done this before, you get a bit lightheaded because you are filling your body with oxygen. You are alkalizing your body, which is really healthy for you. And when you first start this breathing, you'll start to feel it in your body. You'll feel the lightheadedness. You feel a bit of tingles that start moving through you. And what we always invite when we do these breathwork sessions in the introduction, we invite you to feel it all. Know that you're safe. You know, I've been doing this breathwork for over 8 years. Not once has anyone landed in any serious trouble physically. They can, or you can feel some pretty tense stuff, but it's all okay. So what we invite you to do in a 60-minute breathwork session is stop running away from your stuff and breathe into it. Breathe into the physical stuff that arrives, physical niggles, physical sensations, physical discomfort, the emotional tensions and anxieties that arrive. Breathe into all of it, and then you will alchemize and transform and release. So there's this amazing cleansing that happens on the emotional level during the breathwork session. You know, the way that you cleanse emotionally is by feeling it. So what can happen is you start to feel some of these things arriving. You start to cry. You start to get this anger that arrives, and we welcome it. You breathe strong, connected breaths all the way through, and you just express that anger. You express the grief, and you feel it. Because in the feeling of it, you are actually releasing it. It's just, it is important to mention that there's a big difference between feeling an emotion and fueling an emotion. All right. And I'm going to use anxiety as an example. So people who typically struggle with anxiety, one of the reasons why many people suffer from anxiety is because they get anxious about the anxiety, which creates more anxiety. And that is what I refer to as fueling an emotion instead of just feeling it. So if you were to allow yourself, if you get triggered into fear or triggered into anxiety or triggered into anger, and you then separated yourself from the stimulus or from the trigger, and you just sat and felt the feeling without attaching any thought process to it. In other words, without judging it, without thinking that you're now unsafe, without feeling anything else other than just the feeling, or thinking anything else other than just feeling the feeling, it will just be felt. And then it will move through you and it will release. But what we often do is I feel anxious and then I feel unsafe and then I bring a whole lot of other stuff to it. And that just compounds the problem. So when we do breath work, we invite you to just focus on the breath, keep your breath strong and connected, and you just notice. You almost become the observer of the feelings moving through you. You become the observer of whatever's there and you just keep breathing. And that gives you the most incredible, deep, deep healing and cleansing. Breath work goes one level deeper than that, okay? And it can be an incredibly, incredibly profound experience. There are many people who report having full out-of-body experiences. There are many people who get visions, who feel like they're going on a full journey. They travel to different places. They get incredible insights. Sometimes the insights are coming from a deeper place of wisdom from within themselves. And sometimes people report like it feels like they're getting the insight from an external source, coming from somewhere else. That's what's possible. And the reason that can happen is I want you to understand that we live in a three-dimensional reality. Okay, Earth is quite a physical place. And in our schooling system, we aren't taught about the world of energy. No one teaches us about energy. And that physical matter comes from an energetic state. So we're only taught half of what we should be taught. There's a whole other world out there. But Earth is a three-dimensional reality. And we start to experience life through the filter of what I call an illusion. And the illusion is because everything we see and how we see it comes from our past, our conditioning, our experiences, our circumstances that we experienced when we were growing up. It doesn't mean it's all entirely real. My judgments about life are unique to me based on my experiences. Is that reality? No, it's my view of reality. So when I do breath work, I am raising my vibration. I'm raising my energetic frequency. I want you to understand that the air around us, everything you see around you, which you perceive as empty space, is filled with a high vibration energy, which we call life force, prana, chi. And when you do breath work, you are pulling this life force into your body at a rapid pace for a full 60 minutes. So you start to vibrate at this high frequency. And that's why your experience can be so profound, because you start to experience reality beyond your limited view of it. You start to look at your challenges, your problems, the things that need resolution, and you start to realize, firstly, that they aren't as big as you thought they were, that there's always a way out. Wow. And suddenly you're seeing solutions and creativity and stuff that you just couldn't see before, because you're accessing a more expanded version of yourself. You're accessing what I call the higher self. It's simply a part of your conscious awareness that is existing in a higher frequency. When you get caught up in your fear and your anxieties and your tensions, you get into a very contracted state and you can't see anything. As I mentioned earlier, you know, when you go into depression and you're in the hole, you can't see a way out. You simply can't see it. Breathwork expands your view. And because you are vibrating at such a high frequency, you start to resonate with the frequencies of other dimensions. You can resonate with the frequency of a fourth dimension, a fifth dimension, a sixth dimension. You're no longer limited to the three-dimensional view of things. Time as we know it only exists in the third dimension. Quantum science has taught us this. Linear time is a three-dimensional experience that we only perceive on Earth. That is why when people do breath work for 60 minutes, time gets completely warped. Sometimes it feels like 5 minutes has gone by, and sometimes it feels like someone's gone through a whole lifetime's journey in one breathwork session. So it can be extremely profound, and everything that you can experience in a breathwork session is 100% safe. As I've mentioned already, I've been doing this for a long time, and all I've experienced is a lot of incredible deep healing and nothing short of miracles for some people by fully opening up to this experience. The one thing I must mention about breathwork, which is very common, is that there are two layers that we have to breathe through when we do a conscious breathwork session. The first layer is a layer of resistance. So as you start breathing the strong connected breath, you're very aware of your surroundings. You are very aware that it's hard to breathe. It's like, wow, strong connected breath. Is he crazy? How can I do this for an hour? There's no way. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be hard work. To do that for an hour, you're going to think it's impossible. Along with that, you get lightheaded. You get these little niggles that arrive. Your mind is already resisting the experience because it might think that it's unsafe for you. And what we invite and what we encourage, just keep breathing. Just stay with it. Keep breathing. The magic is just on the other side, and you just keep breathing. And what happens after about 10 to 15 minutes, give or take, you drop through. You drop through that layer, and there's this very interesting switch around that happens where the breath starts to breathe you. That's how it feels. It feels like the breath has taken over, and I'm no longer breathing. I'm just being breathed, and it's effortless. It becomes effortless, and you just go deeper and deeper, and then you go on this incredible journey. Everyone's breathwork experience is different. Some have a very physical experience. If you're not taking care of yourself, if your body's very toxic, the breathwork will target your physical body and just clear out toxins, and you might feel the physicality of that. But even if it feels quite physical, it's very good for you. So you just keep breathing. And then some will have a very emotional experience, releasing some suppressed emotion, and some will have the most profound experience going on these incredible journeys. You will get whatever you need in the moment, okay? We typically breathe for 60 minutes, as I've mentioned. We go through those two layers, and we breathe to a music playlist. The music is designed to really carry and transport you on your breathwork journey. So it plays quite a big part in it. Currently, I am running breathwork sessions online every Wednesday. There's actually one coming up this afternoon. So online every Wednesday at the moment. I'm going to take questions in the moment. And I also want to take you through a short exercise just to give you a bit of a practical experience and a takeaway from this chat. But while I'm talking about the breath work, just so you know, if you want to experience this, where you can access it. Okay. In fact, while I'm at it, I'm going to just pop my website link. So this is my website link specifically to the breathwork page, and there you can straight away access a link that takes you into getting a ticket for a breathwork session. Everything you need is there. So I won't go into too much detail about that, but there's a 30-minute introduction where I talk about what I've spoken about now, informing first-time breathers what to expect, what to do, how to embrace the full value of the session. And then we lie down and breathe for a full 60 minutes, which is from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. South African time. Okay. I also do private breathwork. I do private breathwork groups. And I bring breathwork into a lot of the other things that I do as well. But if you want to experience it, join us for one of the online sessions. I'm going to invite questions about the breathwork itself in a moment. Before I do, I want to share an analogy with you, which just again highlights the power and benefits of the breathwork. And the analogy I want to share with you is I want you to imagine that you're playing a game of chess. Okay, even if you don't know how to play, just imagine you're playing a game of chess and the game isn't going your way. Your opponent is all over you, and you are sitting there looking at the board. There are pieces everywhere, and you are being smothered, and you don't quite know what to do next. And your opponent's got this lovely little smirk on their face because they know that they've got one up on you, and you're just getting frustrated in this game, okay? And sometimes life can feel that way. I want you to imagine now, as you're sitting there losing this game of chess, not knowing what move to make next. Imagine a grandmaster chess player, like the best in the world, suddenly arriving on the scene and offering to take your next few moves, or better yet, offering to finish your game for you. And this chess master, the grandmasters are formidable players. Within 2 moves, within 1 to 2 moves, he'll get your game back on track and probably winning the game, okay? Because they can see seven steps ahead. They just have this ability. So the reason I'm mentioning chess as an analogy is because there's a very important life lesson in this. If we are navigating every day, in other words, getting up in the morning, going to work, sitting at the laptop, doing what we do, getting in the traffic, doing what we do in our relationships, without raising our energy, without checking our energetic states, without calibrating our nervous system. And that can take 5 minutes. But if we're not doing that, we are trying to play the game of life like the amateur. Because we are stuck in low vibration, we are stuck in our fears, we're stuck in our fatigue and our exhaustion, trying to figure life out, trying to figure out how to solve this next problem, trying to figure out how to solve our finances, the business that isn't working, lockdown that's crushing us, you know, all this crazy stuff going on in the world. We are trying to solve it and navigate it from low vibration states. That's the amateur trying to figure out the next move, very much feeling that they're losing the game. How do you become the grandmaster? You raise your energy. You raise your energy. I showed you that emotional frequency scale, okay? When you raise your energy, the 2 ways to do that is you just do things to raise your energy. Breath work is an incredible way to do it, but it can be by just going for a walk in the forest, getting some exercise, dancing, singing. Even if you don't feel like it, you just do it, and then you will be glad you did. Because when you're in low vibration, you attract low vibration choices. So when I'm in low vibration, screw it, I don't want to run. I want to eat ice cream and watch Netflix, right? Because low vibration attracts low vibration choices. So we need to understand that you need to climb the emotional frequency scale. If you are caught up in fear, if you are caught up in anger or depression, you've got to ask yourself, what choice can I make, even though I don't feel like it, that's going to just increase my energy 1 level? Going for a walk in nature, breathing for 5 minutes, getting some exercise. You know, there's so many things. Having some fun. Fun is not a nice to have. Fun is an essential business strategy. Because when I'm having fun, I'm raising my vibration, and then I'm more creative, I'm more optimistic, I'm sharper, I'm cleverer, I can see things clearer, and I can make better choices. Science has proven this, right? This is not a woo-woo statement. This is all backed by science. So you want to be the grand master of your life. Breath work helps us to see the grand master move. I go into this high vibration state, then I look at my challenges and go, what is the best move that I can make? Because in any given moment in your life, there's the best move you can make that can turn things around. There's the average move you can make that'll just keep you stuck in a loop. And then there's the really poor choices that'll just have you going backwards. And if you want to make the grandmaster move, well, you've got to be in the state to do so. So raise your energy, do the inner work, and you'll start to make better decisions that'll turn things around very, very quickly. One breathwork session has the capacity to turn things around because you can see an answer or a solution arrive that you simply couldn't see before. Okay, I'm going to take you into a quick experience. It's a subtle experience. It's not the usual powerful breath work that we do because we need time for that. But I'm going to take you through a breathing technique that's going to just give you a taste of what I talk about when I say shift perspective. Don't try to solve your stuckness from the stuckness. You know, as Einstein said, you can't solve problems from the same level of consciousness that created the problem. And that's what we do. That's what we do. You've got to step away from it. Steven Spielberg, Albert Einstein, you know, some of these people that have done incredible things have reported that some of their best ideas came when they weren't looking for them. Because it's when they weren't looking for them that they got out of their own way. Steven Spielberg was driving in the traffic, minding his own thought business, and then next thing, this incredible idea arrived. Albert Einstein having a shower, and some formula arrived. You know, these are the things that happen when we open ourselves to deeper wisdom that we're not searching for from the stuck mind. Okay, so I want to take us through an experience quickly, and then I'm going to invite any questions that you may have about the breath work. And like I said, this is a subtle experience. It's subtle breath work, nothing like the conscious breath work that we offer otherwise, but we don't have time. So just for the next 10 minutes, we're going to try something. And the technique I'm going to share with you is called heart coherence. It's a heart coherence breathing technique. This is scientifically proven to increase and improve your coherent state for up to 6 hours. All right. So everything that I'm sharing with you, none of it is woo-woo, airy-fairy stuff. I like to back things with science so that people can see the credibility behind it. So even this quick coherence technique is scientifically validated by the Heart Math Institute, who do scientific research on heart intelligence. Okay. And all I'm going to invite you to do, hopefully you've got pen and paper nearby, but if you don't, you can just try and capture it in your memory. Ideally, there's a bit of writing involved in this experience. And all I'm going to invite you to do is get comfortable. Get into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Oh, and just relax. Maybe take a nice deep breath and sigh it out. Wow, just let everything go. Relax. So nice. You want to have a firm posture or strong posture, so your spine is erect, but around that strong posture, you want to relax into it fully. So very relaxed. And if you're comfortable to do so, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And the first step to this quick coherence technique, and for those of you who are interested, this technique is, as I said, it's scientifically validated to lower blood pressure. It lowers your heart rate. It reduces the cortisone levels, which is the stress hormone in your body. It reduces all of that by minimum 20%. It increases your dopamine, your serotonin, your oxytocin levels, which is your feel-good hormones. All of that happens just from this one technique, which takes no more than 5 minutes. Okay, so just relax completely. And the first thing I'm going to invite you to do, step one, is we're going to bring in a very specific breathing rhythm. I want you to breathe in and out through your nose if you have clear nasal passages. Nasal breathing is naturally calming for the nervous system. Mouth breathing can be stimulating. They both have their benefits. For this, we're going to do nasal breathing. So I want you to breathe in through your nose to a count of 5. Then we're going to have a gentle pause and then out to a count of 5. And we're simply going to repeat that breathing rhythm. So empty your lungs and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maintain the slow breathing rhythm. In for 5, out for 5, breathing through your nose. Just the breathing rhythm alone starts to balance the nervous system and calm things down. Keep that rhythm going. And now we introduce step 2. And step 2, I'm going to invite you to imagine. So we're using our imagination freely and playfully. Imagine that you are breathing this slow rhythm of 5 in, 5 out through your heart. Imagine the breath is going into the heart center, middle of your chest, and out through the same heart center, breathing in and out through your heart. Breathing to a count of 5 in, count of 5 out. It doesn't matter if you don't have a vivid imagination, you just set the intention to breathe in to your heart and out through your heart, keeping the rhythm. And now I'm going to introduce the final step. I want you to bring to your imagination a recent memory. It might even be a memory that you had long ago, but a memory that is quite fresh for you, where you were experiencing immense joy or gratitude or appreciation, something that really made you feel light, that uplifted you in some way. If you don't have a memory, you can simply focus on the energies, the emotions of gratitude, appreciation, joy, compassion. So we're breathing in for 5, out for 5 through the heart. And we're harnessing these high vibration flow states, energies of love, joy, compassion, using memory, if you have one, to really transport you there, to feel what it feels like. And I'm going to invite you to just do that for another 2 minutes. Relax your body. Just stay with it as best you can. Just feel that heart energy opening and expanding with every breath, bringing a sense of calm and peace through your entire being. Every part of your body going into a beautiful state of coherence, balance, and flow. Just feeling grateful, feeling joyful, feeling the love. Relaxing your entire being, maintaining the breath. Just for 1 more minute, keep it going. Setting the intention to strengthen those feelings with every breath. Feel the relaxation coming over you. What I'm going to invite you to do now, staying in this state, staying in this calm, peaceful flow states, keep the breath going, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. I simply want you now to bring to your awareness a situation in your life that you want to bring some resolution to, maybe something that's challenging you. Just maintaining the feeling of the love, the feeling of the joy, the feeling that you're currently in. Stay with the feeling. Keep the breath going. Just bring to awareness something that you want to change or shift in your life. And all I'm going to do now is invite you to use your imagination once again, to playfully make it up. There's no right or wrong. There's no test to win. There's no trophy. The experience is the victory, and whatever you experience is perfect for you. I want you from this beautiful state, this coherent state that you're in, to simply look at that situation and ask the question, what does my deeper wisdom want me to see about this situation that I'm not seeing? What does my deeper wisdom want me to see or know about this situation that I'm not seeing? Trust whatever comes up. Be open to something new arriving. Don't try to do anything. This is not an exercise for the mind. Let the mind go. Surrender. Surrender to your deeper knowing. There's a part of you that has an answer to absolutely everything. There's a part of you that is the grandmaster, knowing the perfect move to make in the next situation or the next stage of your life. Just be open to something new arriving, new wisdom, new insight, new perspective. What are you not seeing about the situation that a deeper level of wisdom can bring to you? Knowing that you have the answer, give yourself permission to make it up if you have to, because you will make it up from the deeper truth. And the second question, the final question I want you to ask from this state of coherence: what one thing can you do differently? Or what one thing can you do to change or to start to change the situation for the positive? Trust your deeper wisdom. Trust what comes up. What one thing can you do to shift the situation in a positive way? It's simply inviting your higher self, your wiser self, the part of you that's never stuck. We're inviting that part of you to give you the answers you're seeking. And in your own time, when you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes and just take a minute to jot down any insights that have come up for you, anything you might want to capture. If nothing came up for you, it's okay. It simply means that you're still learning how to access these other states, and it's worth putting the effort in. It's like going to gym, right? You go to gym, the first workout is always the hardest. And sometimes the first workout almost scares you away from coming back for more, but it's always worth it. The more you flex those muscles, the more you're going to be able to access parts of yourself that are never stuck. We start to realize, I am not my emotions, I am not my thoughts, I am not my identity, I am not my stuckness. When I'm feeling stuck, I have the capacity to move into another version of myself that isn't stuck. I just need to be shown how to do that. And this is just an exercise of one way that we can do this. So I'm just going to give you a minute just to finish jotting down any insights that may have come up. Even the writing process on its own takes us into a different state. When I journal and when I write, as I'm writing, I'm accessing deeper and deeper wisdom as I go, and my writing gets richer. So even this process can deepen in value if you really just express yourself and go for it. So I'll invite you to do that after the session. This is just for you to capture the main insights that have come up for you, and then you can deepen the value of your writing process if you want to do that after the session. I talk about the 3 C's: capture, contemplate, create. When I'm doing breath work and I get these incredible downloads and insights, sometimes I'm walking in the forest, sometimes I'm driving in traffic, and I'm not trying to solve anything. And that's where my best solutions arrive, because I'm not trying to solve anything. It's in those moments that I might get a download or an insight. And what I have done so often in the past is I go, wow, that's such a great idea. Or wow, I never thought of that. I never saw it this way. Amazing. A week later, it's like, what was that thing? Like, oh, it's gone. Lost it, gone. Capture, contemplate, create. So you capture it. Have your, if your little voice note in your phone, boom, here's my insight, or jot it down in a little diary that you carry with you, right? So you capture it, and then you contemplate it. What does this insight actually mean for me? The contemplation of it expands the awareness of the actual insight, and it deepens the value of it. And then the 3rd C is create. How can I implement this insight in an amazing way to bring positivity into my life? You know, so that's a nice habit to get into. Capture, contemplate, create. So I want you to be aware that anyone who struggled with this exercise, it's not easy for some people for the first time. I don't have my imagination. I can't think of a happy experience. I'm too stressed. That's what sometimes happens, and it's okay. When you do conscious breath work, the 60-minute version, you don't have to try anything. You just breathe, and it all happens on its own. It all happens on its own. So there's nothing that you have to imagine or try. You just surrender, let go, and breathe, and the magic happens naturally. So that's the one beauty about breath work. It's not like meditation. Meditation is like, oh, I'm trying to quieten my mind, and I don't know how. My mind's too noisy. Oh, that's the mind trying to quieten itself. Like, what's going on there? You know, and that's what happens. Breath work, it just takes you out of your mind, whether you really want to or not. Obviously, you need to be willing to and open to going there. So yes, there needs to be a willingness, obviously, but it just takes you there naturally. So I'm inviting you to come and try the 60-minute breathwork version with me any Wednesday online. For those who are based in Cape Town, I do private groups as well, but the online version is just as powerful. So we have just gone over to 1 o'clock South African time. I just want to open the space to anyone who has any questions about breathwork. I think I covered everything around the process, the benefits of breathwork, and a few nuggets that you can take with you that you can implement into your own lives. Okay. Any questions? Please either pop a comment into the chats, or you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask a question if you have a question.
Yeah, is there anyone that wants breathwork is very powerful, so I would love you to attend if you can one of Volker's sessions. You know, you think an hour is long, but once you start doing it, it is the most powerful experience you can do. At the retreat that I host, Volker, I also do, there's a session where you do also an hour breathwork, and when I did mine for the first time, the impact it had on me and the impact it has on the students, it's just amazing. You know, you can't believe that breath can be that powerful, and you just brought it out today. And so I don't know, I see Gerard van der Merwe says brilliant, Kosi says wow, all makes sense, thank you. Is there anyone that would love to, I see Stein said, all of our reality lies in our perceptions. You said that earlier. I see unbelievable, so needed nowadays. Thank you, Volker, for I've been enjoying breath and discipline exercises since 2003 from Eugene. Is there anyone that would love to open your mic and ask any question you would love to Volker? You're most welcome to. You can unmute your mic. And just again, thank you for everyone that has attended here today. I just want to see, is there anyone you can welcome to unmute? Looks like everyone, you've got everyone in a deep, man. You took them to a place where they're busy contemplating. You've got them to contemplate. Okay. So everyone, thanks Volker and Quibus, unbelievable. Again, the link, I'm going to put it in. We will send it out in an email going out to, for those who want to watch the replay or want to share it with friends, please join. There's the link again. Stein says, Volker, very relaxed. I think everyone is in a relaxed space. I'm also relaxed. I actually needed that, Volker. Before you, I was actually a little bit tired. And so this sort of energized me again. So thank you again for that.
Amazing. Thank you. How we start our day is so important, you know, and it takes 5 minutes of conscious effort just to change our energetic states, which can change how we flow through our entire day. You know, it's so important.
Quibus, I'm not too sure if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Shelley.
Sorry, I'm on a cell phone, so it's a little bit difficult. I just quickly want to ask with regards to, because I'm familiar with breathwork, so I'm intrigued with the online course. How then do you facilitate, because often people can, well, not often, but I've seen it happen where people can get into trouble and they need a facilitator to assist them through the process. How then would you do that online?
So the way we set up the space in the first place is by offering obviously a very detailed explanation as to what could happen and what might happen. And then I'm always on hand after the session. Our groups are, it's not like we're doing breathwork for hundreds of people at a time. So there's normally a group size of around about 15 to 20 people. And then I'm always available after the session for anyone who needs any support. And interestingly, I've been doing the online breathwork now for about 2 years. Well, I'm guessing 2 years. It was when lockdown first started. At the very first lockdown, we had 2020. So I guess March 2020 is when I started online, and taken weekly groups week by week. And no one has ever landed in any difficulty where they needed someone on site to be there to fix something that was happening for them. Because when we invite the experience and we invite ourselves to feel what's there, and also obviously guide people, anyone who is struggling with any particular physical or specific physical ailments that might be impacting them, the invitation is not to push and force your breath. You know, you can do a gentle connected breathing rhythm. So you can manage your own pace, and that's always the invitation. You manage your pace, and then you decide what's happening for you, how far you go, how deep you go at your pace. As long as you're maintaining the connected breath, you're going to get the value of the experience. And for those who aren't hampered by any specific ailments or physical challenges, the invitation is to go for it, you know, to really give a nice, strong, connected breath, because they can then drop through that resistant layer a lot quicker.
Yeah, because that's what I've always experienced, that you get pushed to go into that intense, because they obviously, the more intense, the deeper the experience. That's why I'm questioning, because I've seen people derail, and normally the facilitators have to assist them through it. That's why I'm questioning it. Yeah,
I think that often happens when people are pushed a bit too hard, and they get pushed beyond what they're physically comfortable to do. And that can, a lot of the derailing that happens, it's people getting taken by surprise and they don't quite know what's happening to them, and they panic. And that panic state, along with the physical reaction, can really derail people. But we create a very, very safe online space. And to this day, it's gone incredibly well, and everyone has had massive benefits. And we keep people safe. You know, I'm on hand. People have got access to my WhatsApp number as well. So even after the session, somebody might want to just take some time to ground after their breathwork session, because when you breathe for 60 minutes, sometimes you just want to be in the space for longer and you don't want to engage. So people are welcome to WhatsApp me an hour later, the next day, and I can continuously give feedback around what might be happening for them. It's really important that people do feel safe in the online version.
Okay, no, just, you know, interested with regards to online, because obviously we in Joburg and you in Cape Town.
Yeah, I'm doing breathwork for people all around the world at the moment, so it's working very well.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your query.
Yeah, thank you, Shirley. And then someone just sent me a question. You know, what do you do with tetany? You know, when people get cramps and stuff, because that's one of the symptoms people can get from breathing and stuff.
Great question. Great question. I didn't go into the specifics of the different physical sensations that I always do in my introduction to the breathwork, but it's a good question because tetany is a very common physical experience that people get with breathwork. So what tetany is it's a tightening of certain muscles. This is the experience, right, of people who get tetany. Certain muscles start to tense up, often felt in your forearms. Sometimes the muscles in your jaw go a bit stiff, okay? And then what can happen is your fingers can literally start pulling tight. It looks almost like you're getting lobster claws. That's what tetany is. It sounds strange, but it's very, very common with breath work, okay? Now, a lot of breathwork practitioners will say that tetany and cramping in the body is caused by people holding on to stuff. And I believe that there's an element of that is true, okay? And the reason I say that there's an element that is true is because people who do breathwork as an ongoing practice, they typically start experiencing less and less of those physical reactions, which means something's shifting, something's changing within them that's loosening things up and easing off the cramping over a period of time, all right? But other research that's been done is showing that tetany can also be aggravated by a forced out breath. All right, so what we normally encourage with breath work, I want you to imagine an archer with a big bow that requires quite a bit of drawback, strong force to draw back. That pull back on the bow would be your in-breath. It requires that strong draw. And the out breath is just a letting go. So it's not a forced out breath. And then you connect the breath, right? So that would be your typical breathing rhythm. Some people do the forced out breath. And if you are prone to getting some of that cramping, that strong release of CO2 can create a change in your blood chemistry that can aggravate cramping and tetany. So if someone does get tetany, and it might not only be tetany as in your hands going tight, you might get some mild cramping in other areas of your body. The cramping could be your body showing you that something's out of balance. You know, we all have energy centers. And if we have an energy center that's blocked or out of balance, it can show itself as tension in the body, as a physical feeling or reaction, right? So that can happen. The tetany could be because of your blood change in the chemistry. So what we do when you get any sense of cramping arriving, you just focus on a soft out breath. You maintain a strong in-breath, you relax your out-breath, and you keep your breath strong and connected. Okay. There are other little tricks as well. If you're getting tense, you can use your voice, vocal expression to try and push through it. And you can also hold your breath. You know, if you've got that strong flow moving through you and you do a breath hold, that can also sometimes push through some of those layers that are building up or that are there that we want to move through. But tetany itself is very common. You can actually have tetany and do a whole breathwork session and be okay with it. It's when tetany starts to get so uncomfortable that it's impacting your experience that you want to then have some kind of technique to try and ease it off a bit. And the quickest way is just to make sure that you're not pushing your out breath. Sometimes cramping can even be caused by people who have deficiency in certain minerals. Calcium, potassium, magnesium, parathyroid syndrome, I think it's called. Deficiency in certain minerals can also be highlighted to cramping during breath work. But that's more the exception than the norm.
Okay, thank you for that answer. So for those who want to go experience it, this afternoon Volker will have a session, otherwise next week, Wednesday. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that showed up, especially just for those who are on, Eugene, Samantha, Stein, and Belinda. Those four, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the retreat. And yeah, so awesome for your support as well, and the rest. And then Volker, I just want to say thank you for you to share your knowledge, your skills, and we're looking forward. You have so much to give. You will talk about some of the other things that you love going forward, like there's family constellation that you do, there's men leadership retreats, there's your other retreats that you are doing. And but I would love you to come back and share more of your knowledge and help us to connect with ourselves and connect with and grow spiritually as well. So I just want to commend you on that. Thank you for everyone. Any last thing? Thank you, Volker Kobus, much needed and appreciated. Breathing in the good stuff, breathing out the bad stuff. Zen mode from Marinda. Eugene says, thank you all for sharing the space and time, and I have to go to a real physical meeting. Yeah, I has to go to a real physical meeting, yes. And Eugene is coming to South Africa. So Eugene, when you go down to Cape Town, we will make sure that you meet up with Volker as well. And Volker will show you around. He's a good man, so you'll make sure that you're also treated. Okay, everyone. Any last from your Volker, and then we're gonna end today's call.
I just want to thank you, Kobus, for the opportunity, and just a reminder to breathe. To breathe. You know, the breath has the power to set us free. It doesn't have to be a breathwork session. Just breathe. Breathe, and you will naturally calm down. Our relationship to breath is so important, and it has the ability to really impact our physical state, you know, so just breathe. Thank you, Kobus. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your Volker. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful afternoon. Go and enjoy. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we have another speaker on Hilton about business. So come in and join us. Next week, we have more speakers coming up, and looking forward to it. Have a beautiful afternoon. Blessings. Love you all. Cheers.
Lots of love, brother. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.